the continue statement. What is it? What does it do? Now I've explained the break statement, and a break statement, just as a refresher, breaks you out of a loop completely and continues with the rest of the program. And break statements can be used in for loops, while loops, for each loops, all kinds of loops, just to escape out of the loop, so it's not looping indefinitely. However, the continue statement, what that does is just skips one iteration of a loop. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how the continue statement works in a for loop. So consider this example here. I'm asking the user to enter a number. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to count to the number 10, but I'm going to skip whatever the number the user enters. So let's take a look at this example. So I'm going to enter the number 6. And you can see the result here. I'm counting from 0, I'm going all the way to 10, but I'm skipping the user's number, the number 6. So it goes from 5 to 7. So 6 is being skipped. And I'm using a for loop to accomplish this. I'm counting from 0 to 10. I'm using a variable called c, and I'm saying if the counter is not equal to the user's number, then just output the counter to the window. And a little bit of trivia for you. If you've heard of the C programming language and C++, we've talked about the incrementer before, where you add 1 to a variable, you put ++. And you can see now this is kind of where C++ came about, the programming language C++. It's just one more than its predecessor, C. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? If you've ever wondered about that. So anyway, how can we accomplish this using a continue statement? So let's take a look at this. So I'm going to rewrite this using a continue statement, and I'm going to say if the current counter is equal to the user's number, then continue. And this is going to do exactly the same thing. So this right here. Now let me prove that. Let's enter the number 6. And again, you can see it's actually skipped the number 6. So how does this work? So one thing you'll notice when typing continue or hovering over it, just like the break statement, it's telling you which loop it's tied to. So we've written continue, it's saying, okay, we're tied to this for loop here, for example. If the current counter is equal to the user's number, then continue. And what continue does, it prevents the rest of the content inside the loop from executing. So as soon as it's run this continue here, it's going back to the start of the for loop and continuing down. So this code here is never run. Even if I have lots of code here, all of this here, if this continue statement is ever executed, all of this is ignored and the control flow goes back to the start of the loop and we continue down again. So it's modifying the flow of execution just like the break statement does. But how the break statement breaks out of the loop completely and continues, the continue statement just prevents the rest of the current iteration of the loop from executing. And then it goes back to the start and then continues looping as normal. So that's the difference between the continue statement and the break statement. And I can show you now, if I remove that condition completely, this for loop will just pretty much do nothing because this code here is unreachable. Even Visual Studio has grayed it out, telling you that this is never going to be executed because we don't have a condition here. Every time, every iteration of this for loop, we're just hitting this continue statement and it's just going to keep going back to the start in this tiny loop here. So that's the power of the continue statement in C#.